What up, Dap? Dap Dunlap in the building. What's up, Divine Acts of Law? He said, peace, your highness. That tripped me out. Peace, Almighty. Dap coming with the peace, Lord. Peace, Father. Nah, but seriously, y'all are lords and almighties. All right, we got two people. That's enough. Let's get it in. Let's flip this thing around here. All right, all right. Hope everybody had a good week. Gonna be real brief. Just thinking about this, you know, sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is prevalent, especially in America. Um, Currently, according to statistics, over 20-something million people currently have some form of sleep apnea. And the most common type of sleep apnea is obstructive sleep apnea, or what they call OSA. Now OSA, well, first let's just talk about what sleep apnea is, if you never heard of it. Sleep apnea is when you have a break in your breathing while you sleep, okay? So your body's got these natural mechanisms built in to where if you stop breathing while you sleep, your brain will naturally send a signal throughout your nervous system to cause you to wake up, all right? And by waking you up, first of all, if you got sleep apnea, this can happen hundreds of times throughout the night. You know, you can be asleep, your breathing stops, and your brain sends these warning signals and wakes you up, all right? Now what happens is you never get the proper rest that you need. Even if you supposedly slept for 8 hours, you don't get the same benefits of sleeping 8 hours because you have sleep apnea. That means you never get full, complete sleep. Now, I want to read something. Let me lay down the framework first. My framework is I'm using sleep apnea as an analogy to talk about so-called consciousness or waking up, okay? And sleep, then we got to start by analyzing sleep, all right? Hold on, let me check on it. So I want to read something from a book published in 1966. It's called The Anatomy of Sleep. And I want to read something. It says, sleep is always our perpetual background and is there whenever the cause of wake disappears. That's very key. I just want to read that again. Sleep is always our perpetual background and is there whenever the cause of wake disappears, just as the analogous state of nakedness is there whenever we undress. I gotta at least add this in. Um, I think the last video I talked about the mask, and the mask representing the personality, and the personality representing the garment, and which is the mask or mascara as masculinity, and what's underneath that is, the feminine aspect. Sleep is then the feminine aspect relative to conversation today, all right? And wakefulness would be the masculine state, which then lets us know that neither masculinity or femininity is bad. It shows the cyclical symbiotic relationship, that interplay that goes on in nature, where duality, there has to be duality, but there has to be a centerpiece in the middle of the dueling points that maintains a degree of balance. That's the key. So it's interesting here. You can find the truth in everything. It's the same motifs run through everything. So it says, sleep is always our perpetual background and is there whenever the cause of wake disappears, just as the analogous state of nakedness is there whenever we undress. Even in adult life, wake is still a temporary cessation of the basic sleeping state. If wake is a temporary disturbance of the basic state of sleep, and it seems that we must accept this unorthodox view, there is no cause for sleep, but only cause for wakefulness. That's heavy right there on several levels. It seems that arousal stimuli all partake of a threat to well-being. See, when you got sleep apnea, this girl climbing up a damn window. Get down. Get down. Damn. Gotta keep your head on the swivel around here. All right. It seems that the arousal stimuli all partake of a threat to well-being, whereas non-waking stimuli are devoid of this threat. When arousal stimuli are supplemented by what Cruden calls wake maintainers, alertness persists until the waking urge is abolished by satisfaction. Okay, I want to stop right there. I want to read this again. When arousal stimuli are supplemented by what Cruden calls wake maintainers, alertness persists until the waking urge is abolished by satisfaction. See, when you got sleep apnea, you wake up until basically your breathing restarts, And then when your breathing is back normal, then, your brain will send the signal, it's okay, relax. And then now the hormones then are then released to allow you to fall back asleep, okay? And then this cycle goes all over again. The garden story is like a story of sleep. Okay? There was a disturbance. that disturbance that came into the garden was awareness, wakefulness. The serpent stood up, masculinity, consciousness, wakefulness, awareness. Okay? And then that started, this whole cycle of movement back and forth between so called good and evil. All right. There's a goddess, a Hindu goddess named Durga. I've talked about her before. I just want to read a little something. This is from Hindu Goddesses by David Kinsley. Okay? Durga said, one of the accounts says Hindu mythology includes several accounts of Durga's origin. She is sometimes said to arise from Vishnu as the power that makes him sleep, or as his magical creative power. In the Vishnu Purana, Vishnu enlists her to help delude a demon king who is threatening the infant Krishna. In the Devi Mahatmya, she comes to the aid of the god Brahma and ultimately of Vishnu himself when Brahma invokes her to leave the slumbering Vishnu so that Vishnu will awaken and fight the demons Madhu and Kataba. All right. The point of the masculine aspect or the arousal is so that what has been developed in sleep can then be revealed. Revelations. The kicker, though, is that if you look around, for many people, the idea of being awake is very similar to just sleep apnea. Okay? And that is, you're awake just enough to go back to sleep. And that's cool. That's cool. It's cool to go back to sleep. But it needs to be done within the proper cycle. What I'm trying to say is, if people are so-called waking up, then it would not be the most logical thing to just, we would think that it would be logical to just try to stop them from waking up. They're trying to stop us from waking up. No. I'm going to give you everything you want to feel like you are awake so that you can go back to sleep. But it's not the healthy sleep. It's not the sleep of Durga that produces a new reality or produces this peace, sister Zeta. It's not the healthy sleep that produces this new reality or this weaponry that allows you to battle the demons. It is a manufactured sleep because the awakened state has been manufactured. You know, a lot of my colleagues tell me about the movie Inception. I know it's on Netflix now. I only got a chance to watch a few scenes of it, but I already see somebody is manufacturing you're waking inside of a dream, and you're thinking you're awake, but you're still in a dream. You know? Let me bring this home, make it more practical. I encounter so many people now who would say that they are awake and they are on it, this and that. But you know, a simple test is if a person only wakes up to find things that support their idea of being awake, then that is truly them going back to sleep. Let me read this again. Let me read this. When arousal stimuli are supplemented by what Cruden calls wake maintainers. There are a lot of wake maintainers out now. That's one of the new weapons. Give them something that makes them feel like they are exposing something or they done figured it out. They got all, I'm guilty. I'm the world's worst at, um, at thinking that, I mean, I used to get, I used to get information and I would think that I had got it. And I remember I would go on this, I'd be dropping on my daddy. I'd call my daddy up, call him up and just be, he just would, and I'd be kind of wanting him to spar with me, like I'm trying to show you, my dad had metaphysical books in the 70s, so this is, what I'm saying, he was way ahead. So all I would get out of him was, all right, preacher, that's good, you own it, preacher. Like, all right, boy, you don't wore me out, I gotta go, you know. Or I try to question him, like, I don't know. I don't know. That'd be the best I could get out of him. But there was wisdom in that. See, Idris Shaw has this saying in one of his books. He says, wisdom is when you, how's it go? I got the picture on my thing, but I can't. Let me quote it right. Wisdom is when you understand that which you only knew. What wisdom is when you understand what you once only knew. That's right. Hold on. Yeah. Wisdom is when you understand what you once only knew. It's the difference between getting a lot of information, You got to sit with stuff and you got to live with stuff to become wise. And so now what happens is when there's been this, it's like if you've ever had the unfortunate situation of having your water shut off, you know that when you get your water turned back on, all of a sudden there's this huge uh, burst of water that spits out like almost like gaseous that comes out of your faucet, and it's psh, 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 and it's real loud until it finally it flows normally. So what happens is the world has been shut off from information for so long, and now all of a sudden, things are available. You know, um, you can get information and you can learn a whole lot, but that does not give you wisdom, unfortunately. It gives you a whole lot of knowledge that at the end of the day can end up just being nothing, but just you can go and go to Christmas dinner and make everybody feel stupid. Like, yeah, you eating this turkey and you eating this dressing. That it has no real, and I used to be there. There's stages of waking up. Just like there's stages of sleeping, there are stages of waking up. You first wake up, a lot of us wake up to conspiracy, and that doesn't mean that conspiracy don't still exist. But for many of us, our awakened state stops there. Hold on, I gotta plug this phone up. For me, the conspiracy had a lot to start with the religion and stuff, okay? And then you get into, you know, other aspects, historical things you start figuring out. And then you start getting into, you know, for me, you start getting into the metaphysics and you start getting into occult studies and this and that. And, for a while, my whole thing was, you know, it's all got to come to an end. It's over, so I ain't worrying about this and that. But here's the key. You still got to pay rent, or you got a mortgage, or you got a car note. You you got to pay gas, eat. If you get stuck at that layer of your so-called awakeness, then for your children, um, what does all your knowledge amount to if their bellies is rumbling? You know, oh, your kundalini is gonna feed you, my child. You know, if your woman is looking at you and, you know, and the ends ain't getting met, then you got a bunch of books piled up, and you can go to the cookout and set everybody straight, but she doesn't really feel protected being with you because, you know, you can't stand to work in the system because you know that all the money is just fiat. Oh, it's all fake, so I'm not even gonna buy into the system. But your woman is looking at you like, we got these babies here and you're sitting around talking about fiat. You know, that's a form of going back to sleep. It's a form of going back to sleep. You know, I'm guilty because I ain't never liked working for nobody. And the longest job I had was working for myself. And when that kind of came to its end, you know how many years it took me to accept that, it's time to move on? I even went back to college to finish my undergraduate degree. And the whole time I was there, I was thinking, I ain't trying to get out of here and get no job and this and that. So that means I didn't take advantage of opportunities I had to get internships and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So I come out of college with a degree and didn't know what to do with it because I was so metaphysical. I was so occult. I don't even care. And I would go in class just to try to, belittle some of the professors, which I enjoyed that. They deserved it. Because they get in there and get that trash to these. I'm looking at these. I'm 37, 38 years old at the time I'm in school. I'm giving them hell. Because, they in there giving these lies to these young kids. But at the end of the day, I still had a family. I should have been thinking about, it's not about trying to grandstand and one-up somebody. It's about, you got responsibility. You are here in this matrix, which matrix means womb. So you're just in another womb to be birthed into something else. And so there's a book called The Secret Life of the Unborn Child. So what goes on while that child is in that mother's womb plays a huge role in what the world to come. Asaya in Kabbalah means the world to come. So what goes on in that womb will play hugely into what will be the world to come. It's not enough just to be so awake that everything's fake and everything this and that, and I'm this and that, and that's it. That was the secret to coming here. That's the secret to your consciousness, is now everything's fake and this and that and blah blah blah. But your woman or your man or your children can't look at you and see any accountability. I'm telling you, hard looks I had to take in my own self. It's not enough just to sit around here and preach. It's not enough. So you're going through these states of consciousness of waking up. And so what it comes is, it starts to live inside of you. When you first wake up, all that stuff lives on the outside because you want to tell people, how deep you are. When it really starts to sink in and become wisdom, it sinks inside of you and it becomes wisdom. Wisdom coincides with the name Sophia, the mother. Sophia. When your knowledge really starts clicking, it sinks. It sinks in here and it becomes you. You don't have to. People can see it when you move. You go in a room and people are looking at you strange because they might like it or dislike it, but they can feel something different. whatever it is. It might cause admiration or it might cause animosity. But it's there. When it sinks inside of you, it's there. You don't have to wave the flag. So I have to pat on my back right now. You know, and this thing could end tomorrow. I know. But do you know this is the longest I ever stayed on a job in my life? 2 years? 2.5 years? Uh-oh, hold on. The troops. We got insurrection. You ready to come in? Okay, take your shoes off. Take your shoes off. Take them off right here. And you see these interruptions? See, this is the real work. The real work is not being able to throw your kids over to the side and go sit somewhere in the forest and meditate for 4 hours. This is the work. See, that's what I came to learn in 2019. I was already doing the work. This is it. Responsibility. See? This is the real work. Because these is cultivating the seeds. You can plant seeds all day, but do you know how to cultivate them? Do you know how to aerate the soil? Do you know how to water it and feed it so it'll grow? Stay tuned, I'll be back. Come on. No, let's go. Get your shoes off. Come on, let's go wash your hands. Come on. Come on. Take that off. Here, we'll get it. Hey, Jada. Can you help them wash their hands? Can you help them with washing their hands? Don't touch nothing there. I mean, more. All right. This thing's supposed to be charging. It's talking about low battery. Hold on for a second. Okay, I guess it's charging. Okay. Since the little ones are back in, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. So right now what's going on is basically we got a lot of Ponzi schemes going on. And the Ponzi scheme is there is a race to sell each other things or whatever. It's just like when the rappers would get out and, you know, you lease a car, you lease some jewelry, or you rent some jewelry, whatever, or get some monkey diamonds or whatever it is to look like, you know, you really living that life. And it is to sell the image because we like to see this superheroic figure, you know. And then it's just like the person who runs a Ponzi scheme, Bernie Madoff. You got to get you a $5,000 suit, some Italian slippers, nice wool tie, $300 tie, whatever, and you got to look that look, and then people, want to invest money with you, and you pay out some dividends here and there because you're paying the money off of the other people who invested. Okay, but Ponzi schemes always run out. We live in a Ponzi scheme now. So, people have told you for years that you're a sucker for working a job and this and that, and you working for all that fiat, and I make my money with the people and this and that. But if you look around, what's going on now is people are panicking because it was all a game. It was all a game to give people the idea that they could talk recklessly, get paid, and everything would just be all right. Capitalism is communism, and that is where we're going. You get people hooked on getting money for nothing, okay? And then you pull the rug from under their feet. They don't have no job skills. They don't have no employment record. All this stuff. So they don't have any basic viable nature to earn in the society that they live in. Remove all of the, oh, it's fake and this and that. Remove that, you still in it. Can you earn, do you have a skill that is worth anything in the society that you live in? If not, you through dealing. So you pull that rug and now you reduce people to where it's okay to beg now. It's okay to beg. You got the beggar on the corner in your local city with a sign, and you got beggars on the internet. Come on, I've given my life to da-da-da-da. You owe me. When you took it upon yourself to get on here and do this, and then told those of us who have to work a job or had to go out and develop some skill and this and that to go and earn a living, that, oh, you working for the man and da-da-da-da-da. But these people have built your so-called, whatever you have acquired is based off of people who had to work a job. It ain't all that bad. Yeah, and that's coming. I'm an Aquarius with a lot of fire in my chart. I like to go. I don't like being nobody telling me what to do. But guess what, baby? Life will humble you. And if you don't have the sense enough to accept the lessons from it, then it will break you. Please believe me. Please believe me. You can tell people you can walk through walls and all this, you know. And that, you know, they might be down with it for a while, but when the jig is up, it's up. You know, we're to a point now. You gotta get back to practicality. What's wrong? What's wrong? Who did it? Who did it? Who did it? Annie? Okay, let's go get him. Tell him I'm coming to get him. Tell him. You tell him, say, Daddy coming, and it's gonna be on when I get there. Tell him, baby. Practicality. And you know, and I'm really saying this for maybe some young people who watch, you know, who don't get caught up in all this. These people, you know, trying to give you all these cake dreams. You don't know, some of these people on these videos might be sitting at home collecting a disability check. You know? And they can sit camera all tight. They sitting in some cardboard box. You don't know how people really living. You know? And they selling you all this and that and that and this, and then you out here to go for the, you know, you got the boo-boo the fool sign on your head. Practicality. Warehouses are being built all over the place and ain't nothing in them. Are these people just stupid? They just built all these warehouses and can't fill them? They got everybody hooked on the vegetarian thing, and now they're coming out with impossible foods. No animal products. Listen, no animal products. But ain't nobody saying nothing else about what else may be in it. I'm just saying, you know, I don't know nothing. I'm just saying, common sense ain't coming these days. You know, because it's about giving people some idea of being woke. Look, when arousal stimuli are supplemented by what Cruden calls wake maintainers, alertness persists until the waking urge is abolished by satisfaction, fatigue, or adaptation. Give them the idea that they're really doing something to put them back to sleep. So, you know, I used to do this thing, common sense metaphysics. I saw some little fella. It'd be amazing people be watching your stuff you don't know. And it's amazing how YouTube can funnel it into your little thing and you see these things. You know, and people be rebutting to you and you don't even know. It's like, but I know, I ain't never heard nobody else say common sense. So I know it was directed at me. And it was funny. It was funny, you know. You sitting on camera with all these monkey diamonds on, you know, you know, trying them little outfits from City Trends. you, you know, trying to convince people that you own, you know. Look, man, it ain't even about none of this. It ain't about is we spend so much time trying to flex and convince people of who we are. The mask. The mask. Pull the mask. This is me, 24/7. Yeah, I gotta work a job. See, here's the thing. You know, it's like me and Dap be talking about this. It's like Griselda. I said Griselda can't never fall off, or some of these other cats. Me go saying about they can't ever be somebody catch them at Walmart stocking at night. And some of these people who be on the internet, who be these all these titles and this and that, they could never be caught dead at Walmart stocking at night because it don't line up with the way they say, you know, life is. If you see me in Walmart, you just see me. I ain't gonna be hiding my head stocking because I never had to fake the funk like I was, you know, whatever. It is what it is. I could care less because nobody pays this mortgage outside of me and my wife. Nobody. And that's the real deal. Because the game, the jig is up. The jig is up. I don't want to hear nobody sitting around here telling me about, you know, you ain't got to do this, you ain't. No, it ain't about what nobody got to do. It's about what you going to do. Are you going to tell your children, don't go to college because it's just a scam, this and that? Or are you going to sit down and lay the whole game out for them? If you go to college, then this is, you need to be thinking in this line. Not just, yeah. Stop, Henry. All right. You know, are we gonna be this what's online here? What we gotta ask ourselves is, how selfish are we really? How selfish are we really? Because, you know, when you get, you know, I'm fortunate I made 43, you know, at the early part of the month. And, you know, you don't get to this age and you can't just think about yourself. You have to think about legacy, you know? And part of my legacy is these children that I created, you know? And I'm responsible for, we don't consider that enough. Legacy, you know? You can talk all about all these other folk and this and that, but I have observed other people, and you can't beat somebody who puts legacy first. So maybe somebody gave a whole bunch of information out to some people to just make them nihilistic. Oh man, whatever, man. Just do whatever, man. Whatever, it don't matter. How convenient. How convenient. When part of the whole problem has been that we suffer through a lack of legacy. Ain't got nothing. No foundation. Nothing. And it ain't about what we got to do. It's about what I do. What you do. Do you know you're not, what's the chances of your child even having somebody that they can even cohabitate with? And I mean cohabitate as in get with and marry and have normal, natural children with. We're going to even have to consider, if I use the term we, like what they call it? Arranged marriages. It's going to have to come back. It ain't going to be nobody else, because you can't put two idiots together and think that you're going to bring a genius into the world. I'm sorry. And you can't be no genius and gamble with mating with an idiot. I'm sorry. So you got to be thinking about, it's like, well, damn, these are things, conversations to be having. What is the world 20, 30 years from now? This is where your metaphysics and your whatever's supposed to be going. It's now supposed to be becoming inwardly directed so that you can have a true revelation. Because getting on the internet and doing a bunch of gum bumping, I mean, all was all by design. It was all by design. All right, that's all I got. Sleep apnea. Shout out to Black Dot. And I'm sure, you don't even know me from Adam's House Cat. But you know what I appreciate? At 43, he's the age of some of my older brothers. I think he probably around 50 or so, 51. I really appreciate the wisdom. And I know he's in the Matrix. He played the game. He give you all the headlines you want. But hey, look, you got to mix in the sugar with the vinegar. But he gives out jewels. He gives out, and I appreciate that, because that's somebody I would like to, you see the brother sitting with his family, and he's laid a foundation and legacy. That's what it's really about. And and look, ain't nobody more metaphysical than him. But practicality is, especially for you younger folk who look at this video, practicality is where to hang your hat. Start learning how to turn all this knowledge you're getting inward so that you don't have to tell people how deep you are. They'll see it. They'll see your life will be a testimony to all that this knowledge you've acquired. And that will truly reflect your wisdom. It's the realest thing I can tell you. Let's see what's going on. Holler at everybody, acknowledge that this thing will work. What's up, Night Sun? What's up, Charles? Yes, Prince Nakeem. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, no doubt. What's up, Yoel? It's how the wizards that control systems until your magic understanding is on the level that means all art skills. Damn. Will minion them. Okay. What's up, Mia Moore? Y'all out here got it going in. Y'all going in. Miss Scorpio Moon, I appreciate you so much for saying this. This is the stage I'm at. Yes, ma'am, no doubt. Appreciate you as well. We all just iron sharpening iron. I knew that was you, Cosmic Mind. I recognize the picture. Yeah, I think I hollered at acknowledged everybody. But that's all I got. Just wanted to throw that out. I don't have nothing deep, but just little bit of old common sense. That's all it is. My mom used to stay on me about that when I was a kid. You gotta use them. You got all that book sense. You need to have some, and they used to infuriate me. But I really appreciate it. Because if you ain't got no common sense now, everything is set up, geared to tell you that that's all that old stuff. You don't need that. Blah, 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 blah. No. No, you need it. You need it. And stop getting so intellectual that you make mockery of those who came before you. I don't make mockery of Martin Luther King. I don't make mockery of Malcolm X. I don't make mockery of Frederick Douglass or Booker T. Williams or my grandparents, my great-great-grand. I don't make mockery of them. I don't make mockery of them because they were Christians. Because we are weak. You ain't been through nothing. You don't even know what it's like to walk down the street and somebody can turn a dog on you. You sit on the internet and sell wolf tickets. That's our generation. And talk about what you wouldn't or wouldn't have done. You have no clue. You have no clue of what life was like, or what, and the how fortunate we are right now to even be on big. Look at me. Look at me on here talking and running my mouth, you know, and to feel at least the safety that somebody's not just gonna come and, you know, do whatever. Sometimes just getting knowledge can make you an idiot. It can make you an idiot. It can make you an egotistical idiot. Spending all your time talking about how this and that. Look, what are you going to do? What's going to be your legacy? Because them people went through hell and high water for you to be able to sit on the internet and philosophize. Peace.